Welcome to Whipsarecracking's weekend review show. The panel members I'll introduce to you. Suman Hedge on my left, who's the bloodstock manager for Iskander Racing, and on my right we have Matthew Zammit, respected form analyst.
Morning.
And we'll start off talking about the Underwood Stakes, and you can lead off if you like, Matthew.
Look, Underwood Stakes, what's to be said that hasn't already been said about Weekend Hustler? It's another sensational win. I think for me, the thing to take out of this race was he really stamped himself as a horse that can win the Cox Plate now with this run. There were question marks raised last week, particularly by Uavo, that look, maybe he's not yet proved himself under pressure circumstances with some easy sectionals that he was getting away with early on in some of his past wins. But I think on Saturday, Maldivian really put the pressure on and really turned the screws to the field in that race. And Weekend Hustler was there at the business end, showing that he really can be considered as a short price favourite for that Cox Plate, and there's no surprise that I think he's even below 2-1 now for that race. I thought there were a couple of other good runners behind him, but really, I mean, the only talking point out of the race is that this horse has now 15 starts, won 7 Group 1s, and I don't know what you boys might be waiting for. Is it for him to break Kingston Town's record before we
Won't happen.
before we like him, or what's it going to take, guys?
What do you think? Yeah.
Oh, no, actually, I love the horse. There's no doubt about that. I think that I've had some doubts about him, whether he'll stay 2,400 metres and plus. Up to 2,000 metres, I've got no doubts that the horse he's a superstar. His performance yesterday was very good. He was 3 deep facing the breeze for most of the run. The pressure was put on by Maldivian. They asked a question, the horse, Weekend Hustler, answered it very, very, the way he finished the race off particularly well. And look, he's just one of those horses that he's such an arrogant horse, he only does what he has to do. And I think sometimes with horses like that, they don't always stamp their authority, and because of that there's always question marks about how good they are. But they don't get past him. They get up to him, but they don't get past him. So he clearly is just a outstanding individual and a very, very good racehorse. Out of the race yesterday, Pompey Ruler's run again was very good, as we suggested the other day.
Yeah, we had to forgive him that one.
Second up, probably he was just a bit flat. That was a much better performance from him. He's right on target for the Cox Plate. Latorio's run was outstanding. A staying horse. He's just, all he wants to do is stay this horse. I think he'll have no weight in the Caulfield Cup and Melbourne Cups. He's going to figure in the placings there. As for the others, the disappointment of the race was Light Fantastic. You just have to wonder what's happened to that horse ever since his high rating win on this time.
JJ Liston, yeah.
Yeah, he might have broken his heart. You just don't know. Getting past the hustler, it might have just finished him. Who knows? But I'm sure they'll be sending that horse for a spell. But out of the race, certainly Weekend Hustler and the first two for the Cox Plate are right on target, and Latorio for the Cups.
Again, look, take nothing away from the boys. The boys have said everything that needs to be said about Weekend Hustler, I feel. Except, I did mention last week that I didn't think he was as dominant a racehorse as what people think he is, and that he would come back to the field a little bit. And yesterday's race was nowhere near as dominant, his win yesterday, as the Mackay Diva. At one stage, look, he did get I thought he got a perfect 1-1 sits in the race. Outside Light Fantastic, he wasn't 3 deep at all for the majority of the race.
Oh,
Brad pulled him out at the 600 metre mark to ensure he wouldn't get in any trouble, any horses would whip around him. But until that stage, he did sit 1-1.
Mate, I don't know. I saw the replay a few times. He was 3D facing the
It was early in the 600. He popped him out.
He did pop him out at the 600. Yeah, that's right.
And I don't know if you saw the conditions there at Caulfield. It was blowing a gale, and that horse was cutting that breeze out 3 wide. I'm sitting on the back of a pressure race. That's how Maldivian was.
All right, look, he won, and good luck to him. But at one stage, especially the 200-300 metre mark, there were some danger signs there.
What does that mean, though? I mean, in a Group 1 race like the Underwood with so many quality horses.
Pompey Ruler, do you consider Pompey Ruler an out-and-out champion?
No. But very.
Well, he hasn't beaten him by 4. He's beaten him by 3/4.
You don't often have 2 or 3 out-and-out champions in
That's my point. So when you have a champion, I'd expect him to go around and beat horses like Pompey Ruler and Latoria.
He just keeps beating them, though.
He does keep beating them, and I'll give him that.
And
but
that's
to say,
the thing. Like I'm saying to you, this horse just does what he has to do. Like he's a very arrogant horse.
well, I think he's in a lot of trouble.
He gets,
I think come Caulfield Cup Day, he won't be there.
This is on camera, you know, Arvo.
Yes, I realise that, and this is perfect forum to express our
Yeah,
thoughts.
look, I think,
and we can replay this. And if he wins the Caulfield Cup,
Yep.
dead set, I'll wear one of those
Here we go.
mankinis.
Oh, this is
the Borat war.
This is a
I'm telling
You've got one underneath there anyway. It's not much of a
I'll
stretch
reveal it.
for you.
I'll reveal it, mate.
Look, I think that just before we finish up on this race, I think the only other thing to mention was of the beaten brigade. I agree, sort of Pompey Rule and Latoria were good runs. I've got a problem with Latoria though. I was on him in the autumn, and I think he is a professional place getter. Perhaps that sort of will really be put to the test.
That is a question mark over because he's still only won the one race. He's
Yeah,
been
but he's
placed in
gonna
both
have no weight.
derbies.
Yeah,
he has got no weight.
He's got no weight.
Yeah,
That's-
and it's there to be proven. So
Yeah, and this is weight for
the
age.
jury is out.
And they may have missed this run, but viewed I thought was hitting the line extremely well. And weight for age,
Sure.
1800 weight suit him.
And one
He'll
other
get better as the distance get longer, handicap conditions.
Sure, and one other, just we have to mention Zarita. Well, she's really on track.
She's
for
on
the
target
Cups.
again.
She was from barrier 5 somehow 3 wide for the entire race. I don't know how that happened, how Charles got her into that spot. But
Took
from
talent.
barrier 5, she was 3 wide the whole way and fought on, and only Latoria got to her near the end to knock her out of the placing there. I thought it was a really good run.
Actually, I initially thought Maldivian's run was a bit under par, but I've watched the replay of it a few times. The horse is a genuine stayer, and he's a real Zabeel, fast staying type of horse. As the distances get a little bit higher, I think he'll.
You're
he'll
right,
start
but you
to
know
grow
what?
a little bit more.
His last spring he won a few Group 1s and he's not going to get into the Cups lightly.
No, that's true.
So
That's true.
that's my only question mark against him. But
Sure.
I think
that's
that's
Cox Plate.
yeah, he'll make the speed.
Yeah, I just, I mean, you know, again, to sound, not to sound like a broken record, but the Caulfield Cup and Cox Plate, I said last week for mine that those races are a foregone conclusion. The Hustler has already got those tied up.
Okay, well, it'll be proven. So
Absolutely.
I
That was
think
the Underwood.
That's the Underwood. Thank you.